All right, y'all. I've got to get some of this off of my chest about whenever they get a new cookie cutter, uh, sort of political type of, male influencer vlog. It's like it just sends an earthquake throughout social media. And I wanted to come and speak on it from a perspective of women that have been women my age that have been down a very horrific road with a very irresponsible man. And the fact that these kinds of men that are very disparaging to women, that are patriarchal, making up their rules as they go along, these type of men, they give men this false hope, or they give men that are less than responsible, like it's almost like these men feel as though they get free reign over women, even though they are undeserving of a woman's attention, in my opinion. um I was on here talking about um how a man doesn't have to be a very, very rich man for me to love him, because I was just talking about that. But I think that when a man is a deadbeat father, I think that when you are a mother that is reminded every single day of, maybe your ex that did not take it seriously, his responsibility as a man to take care of his children. And I think that when male influencers like that come out, and when they get to speaking, they speak to these men who can't even get average looking women. You know what I'm saying? Like, no woman is going to be interested in a man that currently is running from his responsibilities of taking care of his children, because men that are going through that, they have a certain energy around them, and it's the energy of lack. It's the energy of I don't care. It's the energy of laziness. It's the energy of slovenly, just being slovenly, and these men will actually think that they can stand in judgment of a woman or anybody that is supporting their children. And I wanted to come in and talk about that real quick, because some of these men are very triggering. Um, I know that there are women now that their children are grown or either older, and it's been, 20 years, and the father still contributes nothing. And you know what they do? They shame women because of that. And this is another thing that comes along with patriarchy. I respect a woman that goes out and strips and takes care of her children if she has them at home, than a man sitting around the internet playing video games every day, talking crazy about women. So it just, like, women, that's why we have to look onward and upward. And, if you are a woman, and my grandmother used to tell me, don't ever tell a man what another man did to you. My grandmother used to always tell me that, because because a lot of these men that still live with their mother still are very irresponsible, have nothing to offer you, have nothing to be a family with. They're just looking for sex or looking for somewhere to put a baby. And those men, they will think, they'll look at certain groups of women and they'll think, oh, I have a chance with this person because, well, the father of your child was like me, or your father was like me. Yeah, exactly. Like, let's say that you grew up and your father was a deadbeat. You're going to track every deadbeat within 100 miles of you. You are, because, well, if your father is a deadbeat and he doesn't think much of his family to take care of them, just imagine how he feels about you as a person in general. Imagine how he feels about himself. And I just don't like it. I really don't. And the brand of manhood that comes with the Black community is that they want to be pimps. All of them want to be pimps. It's almost like back in the day when Black men that at least went to school and did very good academically, maybe they would go and, maybe they would dream about playing basketball or football. But it's almost like Black men limited themselves to, if they're in the upper echelon or if they are, doing the academic thing. Because some of us, for me, I never wanted to be a cheerleader. I never wanted to have anything to do with any of that crap. I didn't. And so I didn't really have the high school experience. And plus, I was having too many problems at home because of what was going on that I'm not going to mention. But, either he's going to be a basketball player, a football player, a rapper, or a pimp. And, these types of men, like, I'm not gonna, if you are online telling the world that you used to be a pimp, I'm not gonna be interested in you. I'm not gonna be interested in you as a man. Would you be interested in somebody, Jackie Jones? Thank you. I know that. I know that women, that's what I'm saying. But if you have those kinds of deadbeat men that are constantly on you, imagine if they're right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the way that they hound you in social media, you can't even open up comments on your pages without them attacking. It's totally ridiculous to me. And I am sick of it. Like, that's one of the things that I want to leave behind in 2020. And they'll act like, well, you didn't get nobody else any better than me, so these are your only choices. And it's like, it's sad that y'all look at love like that. I'm sorry, love is love, period. If somebody loves somebody, it don't matter what their circumstances are. But if you are a man that's going to drag a woman down, like, okay, y'all have saw the little argument or the tiff that I've been having the past couple of years with my ex. He ain't took nothing away from me. Ain't nothing happened to me or to where something disastrous has happened to me financially because of him. He don't bring me that kind of energy. It's these dusties that think they can be in judgment of you, and then they'll say, "Oh, well, you used to be my girlfriend." Well, first of all, I've never met you, sir. But even if I did used to be your girlfriend, like even your real life girlfriends, what makes you think that you can run around the internet and hate on them like that? Yeah, I would never, I've never even lived that lifestyle. I don't know about hard drugs. I don't know about, the trap house. I don't know anything about that. I don't know about trapping. I'm not a trap queen. I don't know how to cook crack. I don't know none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So these men are out here in social media and they're looking at women, and people like Kevin Samuels gives them a leg to stand on. I mean, if you get a bunch of men telling you that 40 something year old women can't get quality men, which we know is not true because I believe that we've all proven otherwise. If they're doing that, then what do y'all think the Dusties are going to do? The Dusties are going to go after that demographic group. That's just like when Tommy Sotomayor came out. It was all about dissing single women, single mothers. Okay. And so what did they do? They came after the mothers. They came after the single mothers. Am I lying? In social media, how many of you women have been stalked by these kind of men who are flirting with you, but yet they're telling you that you're a single mother and you should accept them because you can't do no better because don't nobody else want you. We've all been there, done that. And it's like, what? Like, What? And so, you can have relationships with other people and they're so delusional that they think that it's them. Like, it's so weird. I know that some of these people we're dealing with are mentally ill, but I think Kevin Samuels is mentally ill. Kevin Samuels has a very morbid view of love. You can tell that he's never read a Harlequin romance novel ever. Okay. You can tell that romance is not his forte. For example, if you look at a pimp is never going to buy a woman flowers. I mean, maybe after he's, I guess if he's an ex-pimp, but I don't know too many. I don't even know any real life pimps. I honestly, I have no idea. And that's because I've never been out on the streets like that. I don't belong to the streets. I'm always in the house. I am always in the house. So I don't do the street stuff. I don't go and roam the streets. You're not going to catch me dancing on top of a car. Do I have anything against those women that do it? No. Even when I was younger, there were things that I did as in my youth, and I had fun when I was younger. And that's probably why I'm so settled now, because I did all my partying in my 20s. And that was in my early 20s. I had my first child at the age of 24. I got pregnant at 23, so I was done partying at the age of 23. I really ain't seen no club. Like, how people be clubbing and stuff. Like, I just, and so you have these personality types that are even on YouTube, and I'm currently being stalked. I'm currently being stalked by one of them. Like, literally, you go and you sign into your channels, and it's some evil comment because they claim they don't want you, but then again, they've been stalking you for several years. But yet and it just, I think that people need to stop judging other people's love and stop trying to give love advice as some sort of blanket term. That is that's how he feels. And that's just like he'll a lot of the stuff that he says, it really has nothing to do with real love. You know what I'm saying? So these men are being taught, and he looks like an ex-pimp. And then I pointed out that it looked like he was wearing a bra in one of his pictures. And so, like I think that they actually lose their minds, and they think, oh well, and then even when you lose weight, when you've lost weight, they'll still put you in a category of being fat. They'll still put you in a category of, and it's because I think that men that go with the flow of social media and not real life, well, I don't believe that have ever actually had a real life. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that they have actually really led a real life, because if you call yourself a pimp, like if you actually reside over women selling their body, you're just the scourge of society. That's not a career. That's not the business. And until I came to YouTube and ran across certain people, I was very ignorant to stuff like that. And it doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out, like I've got some street smarts. I'm not gonna go out in the streets and get pimped. You know what I'm saying? I know how to watch my drink, because you gotta watch your drink around folk like that. I done heard horror stories about stuff that done happened to women dealing with men like that. Men like that, they have done just about some of everything. And they not, you know, it's certain stuff I just don't. And some of them think that it's based upon dark energy or dark magic. Some people think that what, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, all of the dark goddesses are pretty much on, you know, they're on the same page as to protect the woman. And, you know, a pimp type, the last thing that he's going to be thinking about is protecting a woman's, you know, value or interest. So these types of men, this is the reason why women become up in arms. And we generally agree about these types of men. You know, nobody is, you know, and so that's another thing. If a woman chooses to put herself on display, her body, for some reason, these these latch-ons, they're loser latch-ons types of personalities of men. You know, they have been a consistent issue. I mean, let's say that you're a model or a Playboy model or somebody that does any kind of sex industry work. You know what I'm saying? Like you do it hardcore, you know, like modeling and stuff. Um, you know, these men, they don't want to respect the fact that the woman has the right to put herself out there like that. You don't have the right to come and try to backbite off of it. So what's crazy is that, you know, is that they stand in judgment of all women. And these type of men are the worst because that's a part of their craft, is to make the woman feel bad about herself. That's a part of their CeeLo. That's what they do. This is a normal part of how they psychologically damage the women into giving them their money. Me too, Jackie. I ain't never had to get nothing off of nobody. You know, I've always had jobs. My very first job when I was 16 years old, I worked at Popeye's Chicken. Did y'all know I used to work for Popeye's Chicken? Yes, I did. I worked for Popeye's Chicken, and I was the morning biscuit girl. I came in and cooked biscuits every morning. Okay? Because, you know, they got to have plenty of biscuits up there. But then after that, I think I stayed there for a little while, and then I got hired at the Internal Revenue Service. And I remember talking about my careers that I've had and my licenses and certifications, because I've had a real estate license before in Missouri. And I've actually talked about this stuff in detail. And this same guy that claimed that he was an ex-pimp, he was like, you ain't never had no real estate license. I was like, why would I lie about something like that? And those are the type of men that you want to stay away from. Ain't nobody going nowhere and like with them types around. They'll hate on their own sons. Men like that will hate on their own sons. They don't want them to do nothing with their life. They ain't got no hope for them, and they definitely ain't got no family business for them. You know, at least they can have some kind of family business set up for the kids to have. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. You want some pie? Now, let me see if it is unthawed. So I just wanted to come and say that, like, I feel that this is what they should do. I feel like all men that have been told exactly what I'm saying, I think that you should stay away from women that are not interested. And I think that you should stop talking about them, stop thinking about them, whatever it is that led you to believe that, you know, you were. Sorry, I have a very negative opinion of me 20-year-old children, 15-year-old children that they have never taken care of. I have a problem with that. You can't go back and fix the past, but it's just the point that they're still not doing it. They're still not doing anything to support their own children. And I feel that if you are a man that didn't support your children while they were younger, I feel like you need to make up for it as the kids get older. No, these men, they like, well, I'm so glad the kids are older now. Now I ain't got to worry about it. And they won't even give them nothing for Christmas or do nothing. That's why they get cranky around this time of the year, because they sitting around wanting somebody to do something for them. And I don't like men like that. They're selfish. Men like that are very selfish men. They don't, and they so selfish they don't even want to give nothing to their children. And you know what they'll do? Instead of leaving their children alone so that the mother can do her best to take care of them, they stalk you and harass you at your job. It just and guys, it's I know exactly y'all pain and what y'all go through, and you are worthy. You are a valuable woman. Screw what these men are talking about. You can't ever judge yourself based upon some hurt man that's hurt. He just hurt. Okay? He hurt because he wasted his life. He's hurt because, he's isolated. He can't see himself out of the hole that they're in. So, anytime you're doing anything, they're up in your face because they really don't have nothing else going on. They don't have nothing else to talk about. I'm sorry. And it's not about a man being rich. It's not even about a man being rich or poor, man. That ain't got nothing to do with it. But when you contribute absolutely nothing, you can't even contribute any wisdom to your children, and you don't. They usually teach them the same crap that they know that ruined their life. And a lot of women have been faced with, should I let this person see my children? And if they don't usually go to court to get access to their kids because of where they're at, so they try to get access to their kids in different ways. And I just think it's absolutely disgusting. I think that men should really stay away. And you know what? You know why I was so disgusted by some of these men on YouTube, especially? Some of these men were stalking me when Jacob was a newborn baby. It's just disgusting. And then they figured, oh, well, she's a black woman and she had a baby with a donor, so we can just go after her and harass her. That's exactly how they thought. And I just thought it was absolutely disgusting. And it's like, I mean, if there's like, let me tell you what a human quality is. Let me give you an example of a redeeming human quality. When a man is supporting his children, okay? When a man is supporting his family and his children, that would, and then when you get older and you literally have no direct plans of doing it, you have no direct plans of doing what you were supposed to be doing for your children and your family. You don't even plan on changing. You're just going to stay that way forever. And a lot of y'all with older children are still dealing with their deadbeat father, not doing anything, not contributing anything. And they'll say, I'm not going to co-parent. You should have stayed with me. What? Really? And these particular, like, society within itself is not judgmental of these women. It's usually these men all in one group avoiding taking care of their responsibilities. That's just like somebody had left me a message saying that I've got kids at home, but I was talking about my own personal business the way that I wanted to. My business that I was dealing with. And I'm like, well, I could say the same thing about you. Like, you've been stalking me for 5 or 6 years. I've literally watched all of your children grow up, and you still have not taken care of them, and you're still worried about me. At least I'm worried about the person that I'm supposed to be worried about. At least I'm worried about somebody that was, pertinent to me. You worried about a woman that is never giving you any play ever. And that just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, and you know what? They don't have enough pride and self-respect to stop talking about you. So that's why this season, guys, I said, screw that. I don't watch them anymore. I've ever since y'all remember that day I came on here and I was saying that I was having some really, really, really bad anxiety. Ever since then, I have not been back to a lot of those people's platforms. Okay, I can go and see, I can go and watch my ex on here anytime. If I feel that anything is going to upset me, I'll just close it off. But as far as me going and watching some of these other people, I haven't watched in, oh my God, in like over a week. I haven't watched a lot of these people, and it feels so good to not watch some of these deadbeat people on here, or just these very negative people. You know, even for me, if you're a man that was a deadbeat and you never took care of your children, but you can acknowledge that, you can at least acknowledge the mistakes that you made, then maybe I'll respect you. But I'm sorry, a lot of these men that y'all have had children with, they still the same way they was 20 years ago. They ain't changed. They ain't thought about taking care of them kids, and some man probably told them that they didn't have to. Okay, because I guess the kid, after all, was a bastard anyway. So you know, that's why I said, women, don't worry about that man. You know, raise your children. You know, the best that you can. Don't listen to disparaging people. As long as you know. And a lot of these men will act like, oh, well, you're a mother, you know, and I guess mothers are not supposed to ever do anything. They're not supposed to be sexy. They're supposed to just be like grandmother figures, and that's not true either. Because the oppression has been there for years, and a lot of women are trying to break free of the patriarchal oppressive male who wants to suppress their sexual energy if he can't control it. Okay, so if I can't control your sexual energy, then I'm going to try to control your sexual energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm upset that I can't control you, and that's not what men are supposed to be doing anyway. These men on YouTube, they act like they ain't never really been around a woman. That's kind of how I felt. That was the vibe that I was getting. And so going towards 2021, oh my God, you can't pay me to watch that crap. You would have to pay me to watch it. I don't want to hear no. And I mean, a lot of these male influencers that, you know, women just can't stop watching. A lot of them, you know, I won't be watching that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I won't be watching it at all. I think that you women should stop watching people that have it out for you. Okay, stop watching these men. They have an agenda, and you can even tell on YouTube. You know, like for example, Kevin Samuels. He did a hangout the other day where he was talking about, is this worse than dying alone? I didn't even watch it. I didn't even know what it was about. But I'm not interested in watching that. You know, just I'd rather get a subscription to audible.com. You know, I'd rather and listen to some ebooks. You know what I'm saying? I would rather get a subscription to audible.com and listen to some ebooks. There's, you know, and I've gotten back into books. I've gotten back into reading books, and I've been thinking about going on there and signing up for Audible. I've been thinking about it because I was listening to a couple of audiobooks on YouTube. They actually have free audiobooks on YouTube that you can go and listen to for free. You wouldn't even have to go and get a subscription. Okay, because some people will take books that they like and they may narrate it, or maybe it may be by the company. I don't know if that would be a publishing issue. That's what I'm into. I'm ready to get back to being me and to living my life the way I like to live it. Because you can get caught up in something for other reasons, and reasons that are beyond you. But once you know what the reason is for, then it's time for you to move on. You know, for me personally, and my ex was in social media trying to link me with this person, and I've been wanting to talk to him about that. My ex, who is currently angry at me, it keeps trying to tie me in somehow with this person that he knows that I can't stand. And you know, this is called narcissistic enmeshment, is what it is. And so I don't really worry about it. But it's just the point that I've been asking people to please stop bringing up my name to certain people. Don't give anybody false hope because you know it ain't happening. And I don't care if you think, well, you 40, how you gonna be picky? I can't do that. I can't do that delusion. I can't. I can't. Even if what you were saying about older women was the truth, I don't look old for my age. And just because a man tells me that I look old doesn't mean that I believe him. Okay, so some of these men will just be telling you something to disparage you. And I've noticed that like, especially black men in social media, they have become quite abusive. And for some reason, they think they got the right to judge us just because they're men. And we don't play that over here. Okay? And I'll turn into a feminist in a heartbeat. Okay? In a heartbeat if I have to. You know, because it's not, it has nothing to do with, you know, my personal relationships. It's the way that we have to deal with some of these people out here. Because if you give somebody something and they expect more than what you're willing to give them, some of these men will keep stalking and harassing you and thinking that they have the right, but they don't. Okay. I have had, why is this cheese sticking together? Why is it doing that? Yeah, I just, guys, I don't know anything about that. I thought that if somebody sent you something that you would, you know what I'm saying, just kind of be appreciative, but instead they expect something more. And it's like, well, I don't know what it is that you want from me. It's weird. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna say that you led me on or something? Come on now. And it just, it's weird. It's weird. And a lot of these men get violent. They start to talk violent. I don't understand it. What's up with these guys in social media that are acting violent towards women? Is it because they're in competition with us? I didn't get death threats. Hold on. I didn't get death threats, but I got vibes. Like people were sending me death vibes last week. You know, for some reason my image was making them angry, you know. So, but let me just finish out saying what I was saying. When you are a woman and you possibly you know, had children by a man that was less than perfect, you know, and these men often trigger the memory of those types because, you know, while you're chasing women around that you think is going to deal with you know, you've got small children, you know, and this one guy that's been stalking me, you know, I didn't realize he was that thirsty. And then also I thought that he had linked up with somebody else. Like, I'm like, you know, you kind of, I don't understand it. It's so weird. That's why you can't play with people, because people will think that you're making them an offer and they know that you're not. Okay. They know you're not making them an offer, but they'll still act like an offer was made when it actually wasn't. You know? And then follow you around and they still thinking about it and you ain't even thinking about them. You like, I'm not thinking about you. Okay? Most of these women that they see out in social media is not that they're quote unquote hoes, it's that they're teasers. When you look through when you look through Instagram and you see, you know, those women on there half naked and stuff and twerking and stuff, those women are just teasing you. You know, you're not gonna ever actually meet those women. You know what I'm saying? Any woman. You know, I've teased a lot of men in social media, especially the ones that claim that I want them. I'll tease them and let them know that I don't want them because I can't stand it, especially if you're stalking me. If you stalking me, hey, this is chess, not checkers. If you stalking me, okay? So, especially if you're somebody that I'm not interested in, and you know why. I don't respect a man that doesn't take care of his children. I don't. I don't respect you. Okay. And even though you may make excuses and say that, the mother of your child just doesn't want you around because she's being mean to you, I don't believe that. I believe that if any mother refuses to allow the father to see the child, I think it's something wrong with that man. Women have their own intuition. Do you know what's good for you? Hey, hold on, y'all. Hey, Ty, do a lot of times they think that just because you're a woman and you've had struggles that you owe them some kind of satisfaction. Here, we've all went through struggles in life. That don't mean that people want to continue struggling. That doesn't mean that as a woman, we're going to continuously have a series of children by deadbeat fathers, is what I'm saying. A lot of the deadbeat fathers, they act like it's a deadbeat club where, if you had a negative experience, with your ex, that they feel that you want their type. If I wanted your type, I would have stayed with my ex, don't you think? Think about it. If women wanted men that were deadbeats like that, don't you think they would have just stayed with the father of their child if they wanted somebody like that? Somebody with no vision, somebody with no survival skills at all. Come on now. And we don't want our children being improperly influenced either. I don't get it, y'all. And you know what? I think that with this social media thing, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back over there on my other channel and disable comments. I'm not gonna shut down comments on this channel. I'm gonna keep them open. But on my other two channels, I am going to shut down comments because I don't want to hear from them. I don't, if somebody said, look, I don't want look, I've told you over and over again, I'm not interested in you. Never have been. And you keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it, to the point where you so toxic that like just the sound of your voice is like anxiety. Like it's not the best vibe at all. So, I don't watch these people anymore. I watch my ex and that's it, but I don't watch anybody else. And because he's enough to handle, he's already enough on here. So, but other than that, like I think that it was because there's this guy that calls me almost every day. Like he just calls my phone private. I don't know who he is. I don't even know this dude's name. And he just calls me and he has like a conversation with me as if he's my girlfriend and he's upset with me sometimes and then sometimes he's happy with me. I'm like, I don't listen to his messages at all. I just delete them as they come in. Mm. Like, you got to think how crazy that looks to people. Like, at least if I talk about my ex, I've actually met him. I actually know him. Like, that makes sense for me to, but you, somebody that I've never met and don't know, like, you're just calling back to back, and it just like, but they don't think for some reason in their perception, which is a delusion, they think that there is, it's so weird. So being on YouTube is very weird. Being stalked on YouTube is very weird. It is very weird. And I've had men inbox me their private areas. Doesn't mean that I'm going to go crazy and go, you showed me a picture of your private area, so that means that I should have you. And now, really, and it just, it's weird. I've never heard of it. And that's because I've never really had a social media social life. I've always had a real social life, and I'm trying to get back to that. So yeah, all this extra time I've spent on here, I'm going to go. I'm going to bid you guys a farewell. But just to let you guys know, it's annoying, but it's also a huge problem because a lot of these, weird ghetto pimp personality type men, they're bullying the good men, the nice men. They're bullying the nice men into staying away from you. They're bullying them. For some reason, it's like they was able to take over like Gremlins or something. That's kind of what they, yeah, that's kind of what they remind me of is Gremlins. They gonna get what they want from somebody, and they act like if they wear you down for a few years that it's going to happen, but it doesn't have to happen. If you're not interested, you're just not going to look at it. Because I actually had this one guy. I'm like, when I heard him talking that way like a week ago, he told everybody that me and him had love and stuff and all that between us. I stopped watching. I didn't feel well. I was like, yeah, he's really, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't do those kinds of things. I feel like if I hook up with anybody, he's got to have the capability to do something for me. And everybody that I've dealt with have done something for me. I don't have, like he was saying that my ex was just over here with his hands out, and that's actually not the truth. But they say whatever they need to say to make themselves feel better about themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so it just, anyway, I pay my own bills. I've always been able to pay my own way. Unless we're married or you living with me, what else do you owe me? What am I supposed to be getting from you? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, because for me, I'm kind of afraid for a man to just come over here and start paying all my bills, because what does that mean? That means that he's going to want to control the narrative. And I can't have somebody doing that, because I have a deep connection with my life purpose. My life purpose is not to hurt men, but I think that when men are shedding that false ego, I think that it does hurt them hearing the truth. For you to tell me that I'm too fat for somebody to love me, or I'm too old, that would mean that I would have to have a fragile false ego to actually have something like that said to break me down. So if you're an older person, or you're somebody like, if you're like narcissistic and there's nothing real about you, and you base everything based upon what somebody else thinks, says, or feels, then yeah, you not gonna be somebody that's gonna be able to find anything real, because you just have that false ego. So you're gonna chase after that validation from that person that's rejecting you. And you're gonna keep pursuing that person and keep pursuing that person, and they're still just gonna reject you. Okay, so anyway, y'all have a good, I guess this is that Saturn energy. And it's coming up on us, boy. I'm gonna go and do some sky watching and kind of see what they got to say about this conjunction, if NASA is watching it or whatever, because you can definitely feel that energy. But it's more so, it's not feeling the energy. It's not a bad feeling. it feels like a very liberating feeling from that energy. I feel like we are all getting ready to be liberated from that energy. And I feel like it's a chance for these men or women that are going through that to be liberated from that energy, to where, that may have represented, a situation or maybe your attitude from the past, but now you have matured, and then now you have the right to go out there in the world and get what you want in life. So I think it can be positive, because a lot of these men, they're just bored. They're just twiddling their thumbs. They say that idle hands are the devil's workshop. None of them have actually tapped into their creativity, into their solar plexus. Their solar plexuses are dead. A narcissist does not have a solar plexus at all. Okay, narc people, their solar plexus has been burnt out a long time ago. So the place where that creativity comes from, you know what I'm saying? That's not there. So that's why they're still doing the same thing that they saw on a movie back in the 70s. And, they kind of stuck there. They didn't actually advance in any way to the point where they could find themselves a place either in society or outside of society. Just to say that puts you somewhat outside of society, but then again, society knows that they need you. You know what I'm saying? We need witches, and we can't have these people holding us back anymore, like, because there's a lot of important work to do. They get paranoid and think, oh, she's going to destroy me. No, it's your false ego that needs to be destroyed. That's what needs to be destroyed. And we don't feel bad about destroying that. And Kevin Samuels, definitely, he is absolutely very egotistical and very narcissistic, and nobody should take love advice from him. I'm warning y'all. I am warning y'all. You are going to have a very fake and plastic life, to where all you doing is trying on new outfits, and that's all you doing, but you're going to be by yourself, because I can guarantee you that I already saw the future for that man. If he keeps it up, his karma is going to be that he's going to be alone for the rest of his life trying on outfits. That's like his little own personal, I guess that would be his own personal heaven. I'm stuck by myself dying alone, but at least I've got some brand new outfits. And he doesn't even dress that well to me. Like, he has this personification that he dresses well and he's a quality man, but when I've seen the way that he dresses, he don't dress that good to me. I don't know, guys. I think that people are willing to fall for anything. And if you're willing to fall for anything, you don't stand for nothing. Okay. All right. Peace to all my lovers out there, my real lovers that love each other, that are not sitting up there, like, that's to me, it's ridiculous. And I feel that it's going to be a lot of changes as far as with love for a lot of us, especially if you've been dealing with the negative aspect of Saturn. I feel like we can get on the good side of Saturn and catch up, and hopefully they'll catch up too, because really, honestly, how many of y'all Black people are tired of having this discussion? How many of you Black women are tired of seeing the same Black men type coming to social media? We're like, point me in the direction to somebody that is completely the complete on the other side of the fence of that. Because they all front, they all cap, they all like wanna be pimps or players. Like, that was something that people probably wanted to be in their 20s or either their teenagers. When you became an adult, you realized your grown and sexy side. And being a responsible man that comes in a woman's house with a bag of groceries, and then you cook it also, you ain't gonna you probably gonna have a hard time getting rid of a woman you do some stuff like that. You go over to a woman's house with a big thing of ribs, and then you cook it and it's delicious. you're going to have a lot of choices. There's a lot of people that are going to be interested in that, especially if you're doing it on a consistent basis. Okay, I'll see y'all later. Okay, peace and love to y'all.